Captain's log. Galactic year 237,807.839. The mysterious attackers are getting more bold. Crew members are continuing to disappear. I issued orders that no one was to be left alone in an attempt to prevent more disappearances, but even that seems to not have been enough. Last night 4 more crew members disappeared, 2 from engineering and 2 from security. From this point forward, I have ordered that everyone travel in threes at all times. We are still drifting at sublight as we lost the replacement energy flow distributors in the attack a few days ago. The junior officer who duplicated them the first time has assured me that he could make more. But what would be the point if it is impossible to install them without coming under attack? We seem to be in nothing more than survival mode at this point. We have sent out numerous distress calls. But considering our position and condition, I have little hope of a reply. I feel like we have no choice but to confront these demons face to face. In light of that, the junior security chief is attempting to put together a team to take the fight to them. But these crew members are not trained for such work. If only we still had our Marines, we might have a chance. It is now clear that the death of those soldiers was part of a carefully orchestrated plan to leave us defenseless. What monsters fight by hiding in the dark and assassinating their victims in their sleep? It is contrary to every civilized rule of war in the galaxy. Perhaps these attackers really are demons from some dark realm. Captain's log. Galactic year 237,807.902. My crew is disappearing before my very eyes. Despite our best efforts, these mysterious invaders continue to pick us off a few at a time. I cannot even begin to comprehend where they are going to. Are they being held somewhere deep within the bowels of the ship, or are they being executed and their bodies being thrown overboard? More than 100 crew members are now unaccounted for. It has become impossible to continue with the day-to-day operations of the ship. The remaining crew members are huddled in groups, refusing to leave the security of the common areas. Fear has overridden any semblance of military decorum. My orders are followed begrudgingly and ineffectively, when they are followed at all. Most of the remaining crew members' time is spent simply staying out of the way of these demons of the night. Captain's log. Galactic year 237,807.951. We have been divided. Last night we had a total power failure. For long minutes, it appeared as though we were done for. Without power, the slow death of asphyxiation would be our only release from the nightmare we have found ourselves in. The knowledge that our tormentors would die with us was my only respite from the gloom of the dishonorable death that we were facing. But just when all appeared to be lost, the power was restored. With the restoration, the reason for the power loss itself became clear. The demons used that time to isolate several sections of the ship. While we were cowering in fear, anticipating death, they were diligently working to isolate us from one another. Nearly 100 of us are now isolated in the recreation area of the ship, with no way to leave it, because the intervening areas of the ship are now exposed to the vacuum of space. There are limited supplies in that section of the ship. It is likely most of those crew members will die of starvation within several days. Under normal circumstances, it would be a simple matter to repair the damaged areas of the ship and restore life support to those areas, but these are not normal times. I now have less than 100 crew left to work with, and most of those are too frightened to be of any use. Captain's log. Galactic year 237,807.991. How did it come to this? There are less than 20 of us left. We have sealed ourselves on the main bridge in the hope that someone heard our distress call and will come to our salvation. Even though we are sealed behind locked bulkheads, we still hear the demons moving around us. It is as though they are crawling around in the very walls of the ship. What beast fights like this? What unspeakable monster lurks in the shadows, picking off innocent crew members in the darkness of night? These mysterious invaders clearly display advanced intelligence and problem-solving abilities. But they hide in the dark and behave like rabid animals. I have called on the gods for their help, but I now believe that even the gods themselves are afraid to show their faces to these horrors of the darkness. There is no one that can help us. Why did this happen? I fear that death will be our only reprieve. Captain's Log. Galactic Year 237,808. I'm not sure of the date. I am alone. For days the invaders kept us isolated on the bridge. Finally they struck. A horrendous explosion breached the main bridge bulkhead, and we found ourselves face to face with our attackers. They appeared to be roughly bipedal and bilaterally symmetrical in form, as are most sapient races in the galaxy. They resemble most Galactic Conference members in form, but are somewhat smaller in size than normal. But as it is clear to me, and anyone else who encounters them, their size is deceptive. From their black attire that covers them from head to toe, and their night vision enhancing technology, these attackers are a force to be reckoned with. In the confusion of the assault, I was able to escape through an air duct. I cannot believe I have been reduced to this. The captain of the largest high fleet ship in the Galactic Conference, crawling around in air ducts like some insect. I will continue to monitor these demons to the best of my ability and continue to make log entries as long as I am able to. Captain's Log. Galactic Year 237, something something. I have now been crawling around in the ventilation ducts for days. I have learned much about these demons of the darkness that took over my ship. It took several days before I learned where they came from. At first I could not believe it, but they are from Earth. How is it possible for them to have even gotten on board? We detected no ships. Our sensors showed no security breaches. Their technology was not advanced enough to have overcome our security. It took me several more days of spying on them from the ventilation system before I learned how they got by our scans. They had hidden in the tribute. What madman even considers such an insane plan? Their technology is chemically powered, so their weapons did not appear on any of our scans or trigger any alarms. Even more amazing is the fact that there was no possible way the Earth people could have known whether or not our cargo bins were even pressurized. These humans took that risk. They risked being exposed to death in the vacuum of space just to get on board. If humans are willing to do this, what else are they capable of? And once they were on board, they bided their time. They accessed these very same ventilation ducts I now find myself confined to. They spied on us for months, while they learned everything they could about us. They learned our weaknesses and strengths long before they struck. And then when they did strike, it was devious and calculated. They purposely made their first actions appear as simple malfunctions, so as to lull us into a sense of calm. It was not until the life support malfunction that we even began to suspect that what was happening was by design. What kind of cursed world even gives rise to a species that fights like that? Author's name and the link to original text is in the description.